I've had a chance to look at the work you've done. I've had the chance to see the incredible artwork that tells a story in a way that I don't think often gets told. So obviously this is a story of challenges, and it's a story of violence. But there's also another story, it is what you are doing to make it a story of hope.
So one of the questions could be, why are we here? Well, the message that I've been given from the organizers of this, of which I am also one, is this idea that story sparks action. Story sparks action. And the challenges that we have in our neighborhood require action. And one of the strategies that we want to get this action going is through story. Look at the person next to you, look at the displays, you'll see stories, all kinds of stories. So that, to me, means we're going to have all kinds of action. Action that's going to join the current action that's already underway in the neighborhood. Action that's going to thrust out on its own and be a catalyst for more new action. And so that's why we're here today, to hear your stories. Now, so I'm going to be coming to you, and Marquette's going to be coming to you from time to time throughout this day. And one of the things I'd like you to do is whenever you hear me say, story sparks, you're going to say action. Story sparks. Action. Story sparks. Action. Okay.
And so with this project, it's great that we have all come together so that we can give our input, we can give our stories, we can voice how we feel, and in that way, it will be used properly.
You chasing the green, I'm chasing the dream. Who making the cuts? I'm making the team. It's all in my blood, it's all in my genes. Far above the average, but by any means, I gotta get it. You see me on a mission, right? Pay them dues and you can't even pay attention, right? Okay, the young boys need to grow up. I know that I'm the bomb, but I'm just waiting to blow up. If we had a showdown, they probably wouldn't show up. I want to reap fruit. Now the question is, so what? Been seen defeat, so the streets be toe up, flooded with police, but think we need more of indigenous leaders, prestigious believers. The quitters can leave us, cannot let the blind lead us. So whether you're following Allah or Jesus, my thesis, we need to put the peace down and put some peace up.
So see the pain. That's why I can't turn my life around, cause I'll be following demons. I don't know what they want from me. It was like they were born to come for me. And if I don't make it back tonight, then I pray someone will want for me. I swear these teachers don't care it. All these preachers I ain't wearing, cause I'm not a part of their congregation just because of what I'm wearing. Talking about breaking cycles of poverty, but the poverty identified with God. But you want it from me. stories. Now hear the rain. You can see the peace in my eyes, but you can see the hurt in these eyes. You can see the love in these eyes, but you can see the hate in these eyes. But I want you to see your joy in my eyes. I want you to see your peace in my eyes. I want you to see your redemption in my eyes. I want you to find your rest in my eyes.
How oftentimes does this truth remain unspoken because it hurts too much to know it. So we justify this pain with their silence. Can't we see this perpetuation of violence? A mastermind game of the man's trickery. We navigate between this line of peril and possibility. Locked in situations of compromisation, hate in the silence surrounding identification. Like knowing the disease about humanity but not taking the medication. Sickness of separation, drawing lines of an us versus them nation, damnation. Because if we continue to think that it's about just us, then there will never be justice. Because justice takes all of us. So just this once, can't we see that these lines of separation are what's killing us? And though this struggle endures, so do our voices. I'm not sure if they can save us, but at least they will proclaim us as the humanity that God made us. We will take this message, thrust this message to our brethren, unaware that though this struggle endures, so do our voices. Redemption enough that we've never given up. How do we be restored from these lies that have always been? Because my body's being thrashed and contorted, distorted understanding of what I'm supposed to be, if not free. Then tell me, what's this all mean? I just can't believe you when you said this is the way that it's supposed to be. So we be contending for the mending of what we know is broken. But it must be spoken. So I'm going to say it like my last breath. I want to be a student of the history that they'll never teach us. Wordsmith of a hope that could actually reach us. Because I know I'm a learner, but I want to be a fighter. More than just strangers, we are survivors. So let's mobilize our strengths and our pride. Please blind her. Because though this struggle endures, so do our voices.
Feel the love. hold my eyes, hear you lie, hear you lie, hear you lie, hear you lie.
The moment I walked into my first class, I fell in love with Virginia Beach High School's diversity. For the first time, I was no longer the only black students in the room, no longer the Afro students who wear the scarf, and I was no longer being teased about my accent. Instead, I found peers who loved my accent, my scarves, and the issue of my skin color was no longer an issue. It is here at Virginia Beach High School that I made long-lasting friends after leaving all my friends in Kenya and in Minnesota. I find teachers who care so much about their students that they would stay before and after school to make sure that their student understood the material. Teachers would not allow their students to fail. Virginia Beach High School prepared me for university and mentored me towards scholarship for college. I am now Washington State University. I am now a senior at Washington State University, and I'll be graduating this coming May. Now, I am back at Virginia Beach High School, giving back to this community that nurtured me. I see myself as a role model for higher education achievement through aspiration, ambition, and hard work. To families and friends of our Virginia Beach Valley, I really urge you to be involved in our schools and community-based organizations such as the Urban Impact. Together, we can build stronger and healthier communities. Thank you.
I also want to talk a little bit about why story is important. Somebody said earlier that each one of us have a story, but two people can experience the same thing and have a totally different story about it. And how we define our stories or tell our stories, the stories we create about our lives, define our lives.
And I got to tell you, the value of what you're getting ready to do is so important to this neighborhood. You got to see it in the context of being connected to all of the other organizing and all of the other activity that's going on so that people can see who we really are. Not the perceptions folks have of us from the outside, but who we really are.
Our group came up with street art to do a mural telling our community stories of past, present, and future.
But our group came up with the same thing as their group, except we wanted to add on cleaning up our community, because when you walk into our community, you see all the tall grass just growing up on the streets, and there's potholes everywhere. And so if we were to fix that up and make our community look positive, then people would think of us positively, this would be a good community for people to live and stuff. And then we have murals on sides of buildings and stuff, and everywhere that say positive things, we are a community that people will actually start believing in.
Okay, so our group, our top choice is to create a corner greeter stand that involves free coffee and tea, and you hand out information about violence prevention when people come or walk by. So you greet them and you smile, and then you hand out free coffee or tea. And also you have information in multiple languages. So that's our idea.
All right.
Our group's idea is to basically have a similar event where everyone is coming together in an intentional way, where there's a time for sharing stories, there's a time for engagement and listening. So we came up with 1,000 ideas, but ultimately we landed on that one. Okay. We're having a good time today, and we want to see more opportunities to engage and to share stories and to spend time together. So,
my name's Lincoln, and our group decided on parade, like the Martin Luther King Jr. parade, fighting for no crime and all of that.
We have a third mural idea, and we were thinking maybe we could take a spot that is a long chain link fence or somewhere that doesn't have a whole lot of color, and add a growing mural that grows for 21 days, that every community group in Rainier Beach can add to it and can, take a board or placard and add their piece, and then it just continues to grow throughout the month.
We don't all know each other, so we thought, well, we'll have a big, block party, just for the awing party for all the areas, like having it the community center or something, so the neighborhoods would know each other.
Is it possible to get some volunteers from each one of the newcomer communities to serve as volunteers, to triage per se? So if there's an emergency, they would have someone to call. For example, the Vietnamese community, call someone you trusted. Then that person then could communicate the emergency in English to the police department when they call 911.
So, the 21-day challenge that our community is going to support is, where's the drum roll? Come on, you guys, stack. Keep that going. Da-da-da-da-da. Number 3, it is the corner greeter stand, the coffee tea. Amazing, that's great. They were actually really close. I want you guys to know they're like nothing next. So that means we have some more work to do after this 21 days, right?
Excellent. And if you really loved your idea too, one thing that was amazing as I was typing these out was noticing how many similarities we had. We know what we want to see in our community, right? And knowing that's the first step. And so think about the ways that many of these ideas can actually collaborate with each other, right? How they can collaborate with each other. Where we can have passing out coffee on the corner behind us and growing marrow, right? And we clean up the area before we go and serve that coffee on the corner. There's so many places, right? So many opportunities. And even then, we have an opportunity while we're handing out coffee to hand out the business cards for our new triage, right, services. There's space for all of our ideas. So what we want to end with, and we'll invite Barb up, is a little bit of our little chant, right? Mr. David said it. I'm going to do 3 times. It's like, start with a little whisper. And then a higher voice. And then a shout. Stories, spark. Stories, spark. All right, and yell it. Truly yell it. Ready? Stories, spark!